Hey guys, a few days ago we checked out the Vayne rework on the PBE, which is pretty nutty, but now they're also making Caitlyn ridiculous again. So there are a ton of changes for Kate, like little things and stuff, but 4 major bits getting buffed or nerfed, and it's hard because like it's not a full obvious rework, but this will 100% change the way we play Caitlyn. It's a whole new playstyle. We're going to look at those changes and then we're going to look at some others on the PBE because there are a lot this time. So remember when Caitlyn was overpowered for ages, right? Like a few months ago, the nerf that actually killed her was in 7.14, the attack speed growth went from 4% down to 2%, and that made her late game really suck. That has been reverted now. That is back to 4% on the PB, and that is massive alone. She used to be insane because she'd scale so well and just crap on people late game. That late game power is now 100% back to what it used to be, if not actually better. There is a bunch of base stat stuff, like the TLDRs are making her early game a bit weaker, but mid to late game better. Her health per level is going up because her base is going down 70. Her base attack speed is a little bit up. The attack speed per level is up to 4%, as we said, which is the big one. And even her health regen is down a bit. Now that alone, just like reversing the change, giving her the 4% attack speed per level would be enough to bring her back and make her good. They just reverted the only nerf that killed her before. But now headshots also work on towers. As if she wasn't already really good at taking towers, she can now headshot them for the bonus damage. It used to be 6 stacks for a headshot. It is now 8. But they stack up on towers and bonus damage works on those towers as well. So you take them so fast. I don't know if you remember actually, ages ago, Jin used to be pretty trash back in season 6 actually, but then they gave him this buff. His 4th crit shot actually started to apply on towers. That change came in and suddenly he was overpowered again after that patch. He took towers so fast, he gave himself so much more gold and that made him so much better. Caitlyn is already a tower taking monster. It's like kind of why you pick her in a way, and now she's gonna headshot them as well. Imagine with a rapid fire cannon, you get your headshot ready on the minion wave, then you get your rapid fire cannon and you can long range headshot the tower for a bunch of damage and slowly chip it away. So also, yeah, I get like it's 6 to 8 stacks, which sucks for team fighting for the headshot damage and stuff, but remember your attack speed growth is up this patch, right? Back to 4%, back to where she attacks super fast late game again. So this buff means that you will attack more than twice more anyway. This is kind of what I don't get. Like basically you will get to your headshot quicker than the live patch right now anyway because you attack so much faster late game. In lane phase and stuff, like it won't be as good. Like it will take longer because that growth hasn't kicked in yet, but late game, mid game, it makes no difference. Also, you still have your traps, your net to give you free headshots in fights, so it's not that bad. Now so far we've got slightly less health in lane phase, but it will even out about level 12 and then get even better late game. Her attack speed is back to the OP level it was before, and headshots work on towers. I guess to offset her ridiculous late game she's going to have now, her Q is going to be a bit worse. It's now 33% less damage after the first target it hits, and remember as well, in 7.16 they lowered that from 67%. It was lowered to 50%, now 33%, so it's actually about half what it was a few months ago. It just means her wave clear and poke is going to be worse in the lane phase. That's honestly really it. It does hurt the AFK push style from Caitlyn where you're a bit lazy, but like our actual fighting, EQ combo and stuff will do the same damage. The headshots and stuff taking longer to stack in lane and this Q might actually bone her wave clear and pushing a fair bit, but luckily for us, we can kind of just hold on now for team fights and be a beast. Your traps are also getting some changes though. I told you there were a lot of Caitlyn changes this patch. Her headshot damage is actually up now, like the bonus on it at every rank. In 7.16 they nerfed her trap damage, but now they've increased it back up to actually more than it was before. The AD ratio is now more, but only bonus AD, which means it's better late game when you actually have a lot of items. Your trap duration is changing, so it's scaling with level now. So like when it's actually on the floor, it only lasts 30 seconds rank 1 up to 70 rank 5, not just 90 seconds. Again, it's like less crap to play against in lane phase, but still really good later into the game once you've maxed it. Let's just put all of this together to show you why I'm calling this pretty much a rework and why it's going to change the way you play Caitlyn. What we got buffed this patch was her attack speed growth up, so late game damage is disgusting again, back to the overpowered level it was before. More health late game, much better at taking towers now because of the headshot damage, and your trap damage is better mid to late game by far. The stuff we got nerfed though was less health in lane, less wave clear with your Q, less headshots early game before you get attack speed, and your traps last 30 seconds, not 90 seconds. So do you kind of see what I mean? Caitlyn used to be an early game powerhouse. She would push and bully really hard, then have a dip mid game and have a really good late game again. Her lane is going to be much weaker in my opinion now. So all of her nerfs are aimed at the lane phase and all of her buffs are aimed at mid to late game. In my opinion, that almost makes her a new champion, like new playstyle. No more insane lane bully. Now you've got to be more of like a typical crit champion. You have an okay lane, you have some good stuff, you have some bad stuff, then a really good mid to late game hyper carry once you get your items. That's kind of the difference now and why I think this really does rework the way we're going to play her. I think overall it just makes Caitlyn even better than before. She's going to be even better at taking towers, which means more gold for our team. Like, she's already really good with her traps and her range. The attack speed growth makes her team fighting even better. We're going to have to wait and see, but I actually think she might be even better than the overpowered level she was before. Right, so some other stuff on the PB that is going to make a big difference now. I've actually got quite a few big changes. First one is a mini rework to Janna. Her health per level and move speed are going down, but her auto range and missile speed of her auto are going up. The passive also has been changed, so the move speed is down to 5% from 8%, but Janna's next basic attack deals bonus damage equal to 35% of her bonus move speed. That is probably the weirdest change I've ever seen for Janna. But anyway, moving on to her Q, mana cost is down a little bit, cooldown 12 seconds at all ranks, which is lower early but higher later. The range of her Q is up, it takes longer to charge up, but the speed is going to be changing, so it always reaches your destination in 1.5 seconds no matter how close or how far away it is. Your W range is down a bit, the cooldown is increased early game, lower later, bonus move speed is down early, same rank 5. Finally for her E then, the cooldown is massively up early, 18 seconds now, down to 10 rank 5 from 10 at all ranks. So if you haven't guessed already, World's patch is 7.18, which is what we're playing on right now on live servers, so that means that Riot doesn't have to chill anymore. These are not going to impact pro games, so we've actually got a lot of bigger changes hitting the PBE again. The biggest one is probably to her E, right? Like 8 seconds extra rank 1, so you do max it by level 9, you're going to be okay, but before that you have an even weaker lane phase. Playing versus Janna is really all about going in after that shield times out, so that is going to be easier now. The Q change is pretty cool as well. The speed thing will make a big difference. Like, it's going to take some time to get used to for both of us, like for sure, for those max range ones especially. Whether you're playing Janna or playing against Janna, you're going to be caught off guard, I think, by how fast that thing is going to go. I guess this is trying to make her a little less brain dead, like even with her passive, but I'm not sure about giving her bonus damage on auto. It seems a bit weird for Janna. Hopefully it means that we see less of these AFK Jannas who sit behind and fiddle with themselves while sometimes pressing E though. Bran is getting a cool change as well. There have been like a lot of weird kind of test changes for Bran recently, but this one for mid lane is actually pretty good. His W is going to gain 6 to 14 mana back for each unit killed by that ability now. So it means he can spam a lot more in the lane phase, and his wave clear is going to be really good now if you kill stuff with your W. He does way more damage than people think already. Actually, I don't think he's that bad of a champion, especially support if you get ahead, I guess, but I mean, we're in a sensor meta, so maybe not. It's a pretty super pick though, and it might actually make him a lot better. There are 2 more like insanely big reworks on the PB, and I'm not going to go over them massively. I'm going to tell you what has changed so you get an idea of what to expect. The Azir one is first. With your Q, the AP ratio is down a little bit. Your cast range is down, but the hitbox is going to be a bit bigger. The base damage is up as you rank it up as well. So with the soldiers, your W, your auto damage is up slightly. The recharge as well is down early, so more soldiers. The cast range is up a bit. The duration is up to 10 seconds, and the attack is faster now, but they cannot attack wards, and the AP ratio is down 10%. The new thing with this ability though is you're granted 20 to 60% attack speed for 5 seconds when you summon a new soldier or have 3 soldiers out. Your E, the shield dash thing, now has an AP ratio. It gives that shield straight away, but the duration is massively down. The dash speed is actually a bit slower, but if he hits a champion, he then stops and spawns an instant soldier. Finally, for your ultimate, the cooldown is down 20 seconds. Remember, we had the damage buff last patch, which is really good. The wall size is actually bigger at each rank, but the big thing with this is it only interrupts stuff like bounces them off when the wall is moving. Once that wall has stopped, you can dash over it and stuff just fine now. It acts as a normal wall, like normal terrain. The main things you really need to know about the Azir rework are that changing his soldiers, his E, and how his ultimate works. It's not as big a rework as I actually thought we'd get, to be honest, but maybe this is actually enough. I know some high elo players right now are back to using him again anyway, and these are good buffs. So the soldiers will do more damage in team fights, that's for sure, especially when you can keep 3 of them or more up at one time. And his E is definitely way more of an aggressive dive in tool. It's not really for the streamer shuffle anymore so much, but for the soldier, you spawn when you hit an enemy champion. The ultimate change actually is huge to play against, so it's a pretty big nerf in my opinion. Being able to dive over that now once it has stopped makes it 10 times easier to play against. So I guess like the main thing is his damage will definitely be better, but it's still the same issue of if you don't set up your soldiers properly, you're going to do no damage. So if you suck with this here, this rework isn't really going to change that. The other one is to Xin Zhao. The attack speed per level is up, and we know how important that is with Caitlyn, right? That can make a really big difference, and it's actually increasing by a fair amount. With the passive, it's going to be new. Every third attack deals 20 to 80% AD, and it's going to heal Xin. So that is kind of why his W is changing, and we've moved it to his passive. His Q base damage is down, but the ratio is up, so better late game, and your W is brand new. So it slashes in front of you and then thrusts forward. It deals a lot of damage, but it also slows. It does deal less damage to minions though, so he's definitely going to be a jungler. Your E is similar, but the damage is down quite a lot. Your slow is actually better, like it's a bigger slow, low, but the duration is much lower, so more powerful but for less time. It now also gives him 40 to 60% attack speed for 5 seconds though when you use it. And we have this brand new ultimate, right? Your cooldown is a bit lower. The new thing is that for 3 seconds after you cast it, you're completely blocking damage from people outside of this zone. His attacks and abilities also extend this zone by 0.3 seconds each. So if you have a lot of attack speed like a Xin Zhao normally does, you can actually keep it up for a while. His ultimate is the awesome new thing with this rework. I think you don't really lose that much, but you gain a lot more from his kit. I really don't think Xin is that bad to start with, but these buffs are going to be crazy. Like, he can build full glass cannon now and dive in with his ultimate, avoid damage, but properly ruin somebody. There is some counterplay and stuff, like if you're close to him, you do damage, but it makes kiting him pretty hard. And if he dives onto the front line, right, and uses his ultimate, the backline carries can't hit him unless they get really close. It's cool though, like you've still got what makes Xin Xin, like every third attack, bonus damage, the healing, the slows, attack speed, steroids, and now a way to stay alive for longer in fights. So that is a recap for 7.19 so far. There are a lot of big changes this patch, but we'll have to see if they all make it to live servers or not. Thank you for watching, and for now, I'll leave you with the robots.